Okay, so everybody, good morning.
Good morning.
We stopped here talking endocrine system. Another important system of your body is the cardiovascular system. Cardio indicates the heart, right? Cardiovascular indicates the blood vessels. So heart and the blood vessels together form the cardiovascular system. Make sense? One heart and many blood vessels. Blood vessels include arteries, veins, and capillaries. Okay? And the main function of this system is circulation of blood. And by blood circulation, this system helps in transport the chemicals. I talked in last class. Transport of chemicals. Which chemicals are transported by the blood? Anybody? Nutrition. Anything else?
Oxygen.
Oxygen, carbon dioxide gases, right? Nutrition. Metabolic wastes, right? Taken to the kidneys, and then kidneys excrete them, right? Through urine. So also hormones, antibodies. So those are the chemicals, important chemicals are transported by what? The blood, right? And if blood doesn't circulate, blood will not be able to transport, right? To transport it has to move. Make sense? That's why blood is flowing or circulating 24 hours even when you are sleeping, right? Blood will never stop. Will continuously circulate in the body to transport those chemicals from one place to another. So that motion is given by the cardiovascular system. Lymphatic system is responsible for immunity, defensive function of the body. That's why this is also called immune system of the body. Okay. Now the parts or organs of the lymphatic system include lymph nodes. There are many lymph nodes throughout the body. Those are tiny round structures. Other lymph organs include thymus, spleen, tonsils. Those are larger than the lymph nodes and few in number. Then you have lymphatic vessels or lymph vessels. And the fluid inside the lymphatic system is called lymphatic. Okay? So these are the parts of the lymphatic system. And responsible for what? Immunity. Protects your body, right? Fight against the microorganisms or other antigens that try to harm your body. Is it clear? Okay. Respiratory system. Respiratory system consists of, if we start from the top, above, nose, right? Inside the nose you have a large cavity called the nasal cavity. Then you have the pharynx, then larynx, trachea, then the bronchioles. So let me write down nose and nasal cavity inside. The next organ is pharynx, which is a muscular tube, and then larynx, which is also called voice box, then trachea, which is a cartilaginous tube, and it is also called wind pipe, common people. Okay? Then bronchioles, and the last organs are the lungs. Okay? And inside the lungs you have million of tiny air balls. Those are called alveoli. Have you heard that? Alveoli? Million of alveoli, tiny air sacs or balls. So those are the parts of the respiratory system. Respiratory system helps you breathing, right? Inhale and exhale the air. So you take the air from outside of the body to inside and expel the air from the lung to the outside, right, of the body. So that is the inhalation and exhalation. Also we say inspiration, expiration. Now why we do that? Because your body needs what? Oxygen, right? So we take oxygen. And inside the lung, alveoli of the lung, a very important function occurs, that is the gas exchange. So inside the lung, what happens? Exchange of gas, right? So that is a very important function of the respiratory system, breathing and gas exchange. In shortcut, those are two very important functions. Is it clear? Yeah. Okay, good. Digestive system. If you see the organs or parts of the digestive system, we divide the digestive system or anatomy of the digestive system into two parts. One part is called gastrointestinal tract or GI tract, which is a long tube from mouth to all the way anus. Okay, that's the GI tract. And accessory organs. Let's first talk about GI tract. It's a long continuous tube from the mouth to the anus. First organ is the mouth, then next is the pharynx. So pharynx, you see, is a part of both respiratory and the digestive system, okay? Common. Then esophagus, right? Then stomach, then intestine. Large, small and large intestine, just say intestine. So, then rectum, and anal canal. Okay, and the last is the anus. So those are the parts of the GI tract. It's a continuous tube. In some places the tube gets narrow, some places gets what? Wider. Make sense? Now let's see. Your esophagus takes food from the mouth to the stomach, right? And it is a narrow tube. Make sense? Then that tube suddenly gets what? Very wide and forms what? Stomach, right? Then gets narrow again, long narrow, that is what? Small intestine. Then gets wider again, that is the large intestine. Make sense? So you see it's a continuous tube, and some places it is narrow, some places it is wide, right? And the functions. Then accessory organs include liver, gallbladder, also teeth, tongue, pancreas. Okay, so those are not the part of GI tract, not the part of that long tube. These are accessory organs, help the digestive system. Now, functions. Since the name is digestive system, the main function is what? Digestion. Okay. So digestion, these are the functions. Absorption. Okay. Metabolism. Excretion. Digestion is the breakdown of food. Large food becomes small molecules. So that's the digestion, the process. Breakdown of what? The food. You eat big pieces of food, right? Put in the mouth, then you start to do what? Break it. First breakdown occurs inside the mouth, right? Then goes to the stomach. Acidic secretion occurs, right? That breaks the food molecules, food pieces further, right? So gradually the large food becomes fine molecules. Those are called the nutrients. Fine food molecules are called what? Nutrients. So all the time we use that term, right? Nutrients. So breakdown produces what? Nutrients. Then the nutrients are taken into the blood by absorption. So absorption is the process by which the nutrients from the intestine are taken into what? The blood. Make sense? Very simple. From the intestine to the blood. That's the absorption. Okay? If digestion does not occur, then absorption will not occur. Make sense? If food still remains big pieces, right? It will not be taken into the blood. Make sense? So first digestion should occur. That will break the food, right? And produce fine food molecules. Those are called the nutrients, right? The nutrients are taken into the blood from the intestine. And that process is called the absorption. Is it clear? And after the absorption, most of the nutrients are taken to the liver, where breakdown of nutrients occur. Breakdown of nutrients to produce what? Why we eat food? Energy. Very good. So metabolism breaks down the nutrients to give ATP or energy. Energy. Okay? So that's the metabolism. Okay? Mostly occurs in the, first occurs in the liver, then goes to other tissues of the body. Okay? And those foodstuffs are not absorbed. They will get out from the body as feces, right? And that process is called excretion. Is it clear? So those are the functions of your digestive system. Okay. Urinary system. Major excretory system of the body. I am repeating again. Urinary system is the major what? Excretory system of the body. That means most of the toxic chemicals, those are being produced inside the body all the time, okay, are excreted through the urinary system. Urinary system produces what? Urinary system produces what?
Urine.
Urine. That's why urinary system, right? And those toxic chemicals, metabolic toxic wastes, are excreted through the urine. Is it clear? Okay. So that is the main function of the urinary system. You know that if kidney fails, right? then those toxic chemicals cannot get out from the body, right? Start to accumulate in the body and causes the failure of other systems, because those are like, very toxic, highly toxic chemicals. So they must be excreted regularly out from the body. And that is the function of your urinary system. Organs or parts: 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, 1 urinary bladder, and 1 urethra. How many kidneys? 2. How many ureters? 2. How many bladder? 1. How many urethra? 1. Is it clear? Those are the parts. Kidneys produce urine by filtration. Kidneys produce what? Urine by filtration is the process. Okay? So if I ask you what's the function of the kidneys in one sentence, it's very simple. Produce urine by filtration. Make sense? And that urine then taken to the bladder, right? By 2 narrow tubes. Those narrow tubes are called the ureters. Is it clear? So from the kidney, ureters take the urine to the bladder. Bladder stores the urine for few to several hours. You all know that bladder holds the urine, right? If you did not have bladder, then kidney is continuously producing urine, right? Continuously, kidney is filtering the blood and producing urine. If you did not have bladder, then urine would have continuously gone out from the body, right? That's not very comfortable. So, urinary bladder is very important. It holds the urine, right? And when it gets full, then you empty it through the urethra. So, from the bladder, urine gets out to the atmosphere, outside of the body, through the urethra. This part is different in male and female. Male urethra is much longer than female urethra. All other organs are same, right? Only the last part is shorter in female. By producing urine, your urinary system not only excretes the metabolic toxics, but also regulates the blood volume. Blood volume. If you drink a lot of water, if I ask you drink like 5 glasses of water, your blood volume will go up, right? What your urinary system will do? Very simple, right? Will produce more urine, right? To do what? To excrete that excess amount of water from the body. Very simple, right? So if your blood volume goes up, then urinary system will excrete excess water to bring it down back to normal. Make sense? Now if you don't drink water for a few days, then your kidneys will do what? Urinary system will do what? Produce very small amount of highly concentrated urine, right? To preserve the water in the body. Will not let it. If it does, then your blood volume will further go down. Make sense? So you see, by regulating the volume of urine, your urinary system regulates the blood volume. Make sense? As well as the volume of water in the body. Clear? Another important function is acid-base balance. Just know that if hydrogen ion concentration increases in your blood, that is called acidosis. So if that happens, very simple, think very simple. If hydrogen ion concentration goes up, that is not good, right? That will cause acidosis. So kidneys should do what? Excrete excess hydrogen ion from the body. Is it clear? So that's how kidneys or urinary system regulates the pH. Because pH is directly linked to hydrogen ion concentration in the body. Okay. So that's how, by regulating the excretion of hydrogen ion, your kidneys regulate the pH. The lust system, reproductive system, this is the only system which is completely different in male and female. Right? This is the only system which is completely different. Let's see the organs of male reproductive system. Male reproductive system has gonads. Now you tell me, I told you in last class, male gonads are what? Testes. How many? Two. Okay, so that is one very important organs, two testes in male body. Then others are prostate, seminal vesicle, it's not listed here, scrotum, penis, rectus deferens. So those are few important organs in male reproductive system. Female reproductive system, the gonads are called ovaries. In female, the gonads are ovaries. And other organs include uterus that houses the embryo and fetus, right? Uterus, you all know that. You have the uterine tube, mammary glands, vagina, and those are the main organs. Okay? So, male and female reproductive systems. Now, both male and female reproductive systems perform two very important functions. Number one is reproduction, right? By producing sperm and ovum, reproductive system produces new life, offspring. That is number one. That is called reproduction, right? New life. By producing sperm and ovum, sex cells. Another important function is production of sex hormones. In male, testosterone; in female, estrogen, progesterone. Is it clear? So how many important functions I said? Two. Number one is what? Reproduction, right? Production of new life, offspring. Number two, production of what? Sex hormones. Sex hormones perform a number of functions. We'll talk about that later. Okay? Good. So those are the 11 systems. Okay? We did something great. Right? Finished all 11 systems. Parts and couple of important functions that I mentioned, right? Parts and important functions. You need to know those things. Okay, so what you will do, after you go home, you will continue to work on the quizzes that I have posted. Okay, I will post more, so keep practicing, working on those. Necessary life functions. Maintaining boundaries. In your body, you have two boundaries. One is the skin that covers the whole body. That is the boundary between inside and outside of the body. So skin covers the whole body, right? And separates your body from outside. That's a big boundary, right? Whole body is covered by the skin. Another boundary is very microscopic, and that is the cell membrane or plasma membrane. Each cell, you know, your body consists of 100 trillion cells, and each cell has a boundary, right? You know that, right? That is called what? Cell membrane. You all know that, okay? So that is microscopic boundary. Both are important. Movement is important for your body functions. Why? You all know. Let me give you just a couple of examples. Many movements occur in the body, right? Two important movements include heart. Heart is always moving, right? If heart stops movement, then what will happen? Die, right? Death. So heart is moving. After you eat the food, put the food in the mouth, food gradually goes down, right? So, because your GI tract is continuously doing like this, moving, okay? So, pushing the food downwards. So, movement of food is important, right? Through the GI tract. Is it clear? Breathing all the time, right? Respiratory muscles are moving even when you are sleeping, right? So, you see, movement is very important for life. Responsiveness, the ability to respond. Responsiveness, the ability to do what? Respond to a stimulus. Okay, very simple. Let me give you a very simple example. If you eat something, you know, that has some toxic chemicals, you throw up, right? Your body can detect that, right? Something is wrong and immediately respond, right? So we'll push that food out on the body. If something enters into your nose, irritate, right? Sneeze. Make sense? So when you go on the top of the mountain, oxygen is low, right? In high altitude, your respiratory rate increases. Your body responds to that changed environment, right? Because your body needs more oxygen, so your respiratory rate will increase. Make sense? So when you do exercise, what happens? Heart rate goes up. Because your body needs more oxygen. Muscles need more oxygen, right? So heart pumps more blood, right? So more oxygen. So you see, your body is responding, right, to those changed situation or environment. So that is the responsiveness of the body. Very important. Digestion, I already mentioned. Breakdown of food is very important, right? Otherwise, absorption will not occur. So digestion of food is needed. Metabolism, I have already explained that, right? Metabolism produces what? Energy, ATP, remember that? Mostly occurs in the liver, I said. So nutrients are taken to the liver and metabolism occurs to give ATP or energy. This is very important. Without energy, your body cannot do anything, right? When your body, your heart is pumping 24 hours, it needs a lot of what? To contract, it needs a lot of energy, right? Continuous ATP is being used. Breathing, your respiratory muscles need continuous supply of ATP or energy. Is it clear? Without energy, you cannot move. So, excretion, I already explained this one too. Toxic chemicals are being produced in the body and those should be excreted.
What do you mean catabolism?
Catabolism is the breakdown process and anabolism is the synthesis, production, and both belong to metabolism, okay? So, catabolism, like after you eat food, breakdown of food occurs to give ATP, right? That is catabolism, breakdown, very simple. And if you take excess food that your body doesn't need, then what will happen? It will be stored. Makes sense? As fat mainly. So that is anabolism. So storing process is called anabolism. Breakdown process is called what? Catabolism. Is it clear? Okay. And both happens, you know. If you take too much glucose, it is stored in the body.
That's the function of the liver.
Most of the metabolism occurs in the liver, yeah. But anabolism also occurs in other tissues like skeletal muscle. You know, glycogen is stored, plenty of glycogen is stored. We'll talk about that later. So, toxic chemicals are excreted mainly through the urine, and that is important. Reproduction. Now, when we say reproduction, in biology, we indicate two things. One is production of offspring. Everybody knows that, right? When we talk about reproduction, we say new life. In biology, reproduction also indicates multiplication of cell, mitosis, cell division. Okay? So both are important. Your body always needs new cell. Growth. Adequate growth of the organs or body parts is very important for normal function of those organs. If your heart is too small or too big, right, it will not function. It will probably function, but it will not function adequately, properly. Make sense? So during the growth of the body, growth of individual organs in right size is important. What are the things you need to get from outside or to maintain the body functions? What do you take? Just think very simple. What do you take every day from outside?
Sunlight.
Say,
Sunlight.
say what?
Sunlight.
Sunlight. Yeah, sunlight is important. But every day, I said, you can stay alive without sunlight for a couple of days at least, few days, many days. So what are you taking all the time? Oxygen, right? And food, nutrients, right? Those things are very important. Water. You are taking water every day, right? So those are the things your body needs all the time. Oxygen, nutrients, water. Not only that, maintaining the body temperature is very important because your normal body temperature is good for chemical reactions inside the body. All the chemical reactions need optimum temperature. You know that? In chemistry, we use the term optimum temperature. So what is the optimum temperature for the reactions inside the body? Your body temperature, normal body temperature. Make sense? You all know if hypothermia occurs, body temperature drops, right? Hypothermia. Chemical reactions get slow or stop inside the body. That's why person may die, if it continues. So for normal chemical reactions inside the body, you need normal body temperature. Okay? If temperature goes up, chemical reactions will get slow or will be stopped. If temperature drops, it will get slow or stop. So we need normal body temperature.
Is that the homeostasis?
Yeah, that is homeostasis. That to maintain homeostasis, you need body temperature. What is homeostasis? Internal environment. What's going on inside the body? Atmospheric pressure of gases. Why we live at sea level, not on the top of Everest? Because oxygen is low there, right? We need optimum pressure of oxygen or other gases. So that is important. Okay, now we'll talk about homeostasis that you just mentioned. Okay, when you asked me homeostasis, what did I say? What did I answer?
We regulate the environment.
Yes, very good, right? Regulate, everybody? Do you remember I said maintaining internal
External.
environment of the body. So that is homeostasis. Maintaining internal environment of the body. For example, temperature of the body, right? pH of the body, all those, like hormonal functions of the body. Many hormones are working, right? All the time you have many glands, right? Those should be controlled. So all those are maintained by homeostasis. Is it clear? Let me give you an example. This is your normal body temperature. This is the lower limit and this is the upper limit. So if the temperature stays within this narrow range, it is normal. So this is normal from here to here. Can vary a little bit, goes up and down, but we will consider this as normal body temperature, right? So your body temperature should stay within normal. Now if any microorganism invades into your body, right? Sometimes that causes what? Infection causes fever, right? So here microorganism will cause fever. Body temperature will go above upper limit, normal upper limit, and that is called what? Fever. Make sense? Now your body will try to do what? Bring it back to normal.
Sweet.
Yeah, that is homeostasis, right? So you know that body tries by sweating, right, to lower the body temperature. So that is the homeostasis. Your body will try to keep it or bring it back within normal range. If it fails, homeostasis fails, then that temperature will stay high. Make sense? If your body fails to bring it back to normal, it will stay high. So when homeostasis fails, that causes disease. Make sense? But your body tries all possible ways to keep it within the normal limit. Okay? But sometimes your body is always doing that. That's why you are staying healthy. Make sense? But when it fails, your body fails, then it becomes disease or clinical condition. Yes.
When the body is exercising, can we include that in homeostasis when you get hot and sweat?
Very good question. It is homeostasis. Your body is working all the time in many ways to keep that you don't know. Inside the body, a lot of things are happening to keep everything normal. Make sense? Now, when you do exercise, that is homeostasis, because when you do exercise, few things happen. As I told before, that your muscle activity increases, right? So muscle needs more oxygen and nutrition. Make sense? So how your body is responding, maintaining that? By pumping more blood. So that is also to maintain homeostasis, because your body, that is normal for the body, right? Your body will need more oxygen and nutrition. Also, body temperature is going up when you are doing exercise, right? Sweating is occurring. So your body is trying to keep it, within normal.
So and also the opposite, when feeling cold and they're trapped.
Yes. So now another is, if the body temperature goes below normal, that is called hypothermia, right? We know that. Hypothermia, which is not good. So if your body fails to keep it within the normal range, if it goes below that and it stays there, that is hypothermia. And if that happens, your body will first do what? Shivering, right? When body temperature goes down, shivering occurs, right? Muscle activity increases to produce heat. We know when muscle activity increases, heat is produced, right? Metabolism increases. The body will try to bring it back to normal, right? But if it fails, then it will become, hypothermia, and that would cause problem. So you see, bringing back to normal is called negative feedback mechanism. Now, negative feedback is not only bringing downwards, also bringing upwards. That means bringing within the normal limit. If it goes up, bringing down. If it goes down, moving up. Make sense? Both, remember, both belong to negative feedback mechanism. If your blood sugar increases, You know insulin, pancreas produces insulin. We talked about that in last class, right? So insulin secretion will increase, right? To bring it back to normal. Make sense? After you eat, more insulin is released because sugar goes up. Make sense? Now there is another hormone from the pancreas I talked to in last class, that is called glucagon. That one increases the blood sugar. So if you are starving, blood sugar goes down, glucagon will be released, right? The goal is what? Keeping the blood sugar within normal range, right? That is the goal. So if it goes up, pancreas will release insulin. If it goes down, pancreas will release what? Glucagon. Is it clear? So both are negative feedback mechanisms. Okay? Both directions. Most of the body functions are regulated or controlled by negative feedback mechanism. So this is the main mechanism of homeostasis. Main what? Mechanism of homeostasis. There is another mechanism that is called positive feedback mechanism. Positive feedback doesn't happen very often. Positive feedback does what? If any function starts, then positive feedback enhances or increases or intensifies that function. For example, this is a blood vessel. You've got a cut here. You've got a cut. So blood will come out, and platelets, one type of blood cells, will start to form plaque. How? First few platelets will get attached to that area, and then more and more platelet will join and get stick to each other and will form a clot. You know that, right? Clot is formed when you get a cut, right? So first few platelets will get together, right? And then more and more will come and get bigger. The clot will get but bigger. So that is positive feedback mechanism. Gradually going up, okay? To complete that task. That is positive feedback, clot formation. Another good example is during childbirth. You all know uterus starts to contract, right? So first weak contraction, then gradually the contraction increases, okay? Gradually the force of contraction increases until childbirth occurs, right? So it stops when the task is completed. So that is also a good example of positive feedback mechanism. Make sense? So gradually getting bigger or increasing or being intensified. Is it clear? So positive feedback mechanism is also childbirth. Uterine contraction. Uterine contraction increases. Okay. Now, positive feedback mechanism is sometimes could be harmful. Positive feedback is not always good. These are good examples, right, of positive feedback. Mm-hmm. Now, if platelets aggregate inside your coronary artery or any artery in the body and gradually gets bigger, is that good or bad?
Bad.
Bad, right? We don't want any clot inside the blood vessel, right? That will block the artery.
It's going to cause a heart attack?
Yeah, it will cause heart attack, yes. If it happens in the coronary, if it's in the brain, stroke, right? So, we know. And that is harmful, positive feedback, okay? When you are like pregnant, like 2 months, if uterus starts to contract and positive feedback starts, then miscarriage, right? So that is bad. So positive feedback is not always good, but that is another way your body tries to maintain homeostasis. So those are two mechanisms, positive and negative. Now, three components. The homeostasis has three components: receptors, control center, and effector. Let me give you a simple example. When temperature increases, your skin has, you remember when I talked about the integumentary system, I said the skin has cutaneous receptors, pain, touch, temperature, those receptors, right? So we have temperature receptors. So if temperature increases, the receptors will detect that. Make sense? Who will detect? The receptors. That's why they are called the receptors. Then the receptors will send signal to the control center, the central nervous system. Control center is the central nervous system, or CNS.